Hello, everyone. Welcome to another WLDL matchup for 2025. It's in week 4 of our group stage. Tonight, we've got a match from our Quas Division. Harry Potter and the Glizzy Goblet up against our Pos1's Legend. A couple teams that been a little struggling to find their footing in the league. Maybe doing a little bit of messing around, having fun in the group stage, which we love to see. So it's going to be a good one. These teams should be pretty evenly matched. Excited to see what they bring out for us today. Got our draft getting started already. Our Pos1 is Legend on the Radiant side with last overall pick, Harry Potter and the Glizzy Gobblers with first pick on the Dire side. I missed. I think our Pos1 is Legend chose last pick. We have been seeing rise in popularity of the Dire side in pro games.
10 seconds to
Um,
go.
so we're starting to see teams prioritize taking Dire. I missed who won the coin flip though. I want to say it was our Pos1 is Legend. Dark Willow, a bad in, banned out by our Pos1 is Legend. Add the Dragon Knight to that. These are heroes that we were seeing plenty of popularity with in the
10 seconds
earlier stages, be in the old patch, and still are looking pretty good on the new patch. Phoenix and Undying banned out by HPGG. Kind of similar story there. Jakiro is a new hero. I mean, not a new hero, obviously, but a hero that's newly seeing a rise in popularity with the patch change, the new char or the new facet for supports with the burst of damage at the end of Ice Path, getting both Liquid Fire and Liquid Frost on either facet has made Jakiro start to pop up a little bit more. No surprise seeing that banned out.
Dyer's pick.
Lifestealer are going to be the last ban for HPGG. Definitely a solid and fairly popular carry, but maybe looking to protect something durable that they want to go for early. Maybe something they've seen our Pos1 is Legend picking up often. They've played a couple games of it.
10 seconds to go.
Both teams like the Dark Willow, so no surprise seeing it banned out. Between past years and this year, definitely seeing plenty of Dark Willow matches from both teams. See what HPGG are going to open their draft up with. It's going to be a Crystal Maiden. This is another one that I think has been seeing a little bit more play from some of the changes. I don't remember off of the top of my head what they changed. I think her facets got fully reworked.
10 seconds to go.
If I recall correctly. So, interested to see what they bust out in this one. See what our Pos1 is Legend want to respond to with this high magic damage, high control support. It's going to be the Magnus. This is a hero. This Magnus is still universal hero, I believe. So a little trickier to get big damage compared to last patch with all of the
10 seconds to go.
adjustment to how universal hero damage is calculated.
5 seconds.
But getting more stats, which helps out with that a lot. Also got 2 new facets. They realized that absolutely nobody ever wanted reverse polarity. So they went back to just having the one option for ult built in. Gave him new facets. He's got one that makes him always have Empower on him, which seems kind of crazy. So I expect, even with the change to Universal Heroes, this is going to be a pretty strong hero. Because not as reliant on stats for getting damage when he is able to just always have Empower, which gives you bonus damage. You get the Ricky banned out by HPGG. Seen a couple games from our Pos1 is Legend with the Ricky. Curious what position they're playing that in, because we've seen a bit of a rise in support Ricky. These were actually from a different league that our Pos1 is Legend is playing in currently. HPGG doing their scouting. This was a support Ricky. One of those games, but that was by a player who's not actually in this game.
10 seconds to go.
For both of them. Okay, interesting.
5 seconds.
Unless I'm missing... One of these names might be different than the names that I'm seeing out above. We might find out when we get into the game proper. Invoker and Razor taken out. Invoker, I have no idea if he's stronger or weaker. He's back to being an intelligence hero. Because in addition to reworking Universal stats, they also moved a lot of heroes out of Universal. Some stayed, some heroes got newly put into Universal, but there were more taken off of Universal than put in.
Dyer's pick.
And yeah, I don't know if new Invoker is good or bad, but he's different, and he's probably strong. They're going to go for the Clockwork on HPGG Legend. Speaking of heroes who are no longer Universal, Clockwork is back to being a strength hero. He's a hero I'm surprised did not get hit with more nerfs. He was really strong on the previous patch, very present in the previous meta. And as a support, he doesn't really care about his right-click damage that much. It obviously benefits him a little bit. But his damage didn't really get worse because he's not a Universal hero anymore. Curious if which facet they'll go with. They buffed the hookup facet where you get a bonus. You no longer have to hit an ally with the hook shot to get the bonuses with the hookup facet. You just have to have an ally in the area. Which I'm curious to see if we're going to start to see that facet rise up past the expanded armaments, where you get the bigger cogs. HPGG, they respond with Ember Spirit, so lots of root on this team. And they're going to pick up the Dawnbreaker as well. So a good amount of global presence between Ember Spirit and Dawnbreaker. You've got the Fire Remnants, you've got the Solar Guardian, you've got ways for these heroes to get around the map. And with a hero like Crystal Maiden that, isn't... has a little bit of vision with your Q. But is just going to be good at setting up these two heroes, because if the Crystal Maiden finds somebody, throws a root down, that gives the Ember and Dawnbreaker enough time to connect with the fight. See what we get going for HPGG Legend. See if they pick up a global hero of their own. Could go to like a Spectre if this Magnus is going to be in an off lane or something. Will be interested to see. It's going to be a Pugna. This is a hero that I feel like we haven't been seeing much of. I don't remember too much about what he had changed in this patch. I should probably just like have the patch notes up in a tab.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds. Dyer's pick.
Troll Warlord is going to be the other pickup. That'll be their option at carry. Another hero we haven't been seeing a ton of, so I like HPGG Legend. Trying out some new heroes that haven't been in the meta as much. That'll be another one. I don't think I absorbed any of Troll Warlord's changes, if there were any. Yeah, Pugna, big thing is that Life Drain doesn't instantly kill enemy illusions and doesn't restore mana. So Pugna actually got a little nerfed, which was a bit surprising. I think the restoring mana was good because now he's not as dependent on having a hero like Storm Spirit that he's working with in order to be relevant. Can be more of just like a generic good save heal support. Let's see, one of Troll Warlord's facets got reworked. Increases his max fervor stacks and removes the attack speed
Dyer's bam.
during battle trans. And grants it to allies. Pretty good. Especially with the Magnus, who's going to be benefiting from that attack speed with the Empower. I think that could work out pretty nicely. Death Prophet is the response from
10 seconds to
HPGG.
go.
That's going to give them a good amount of tower pressure with the Exorcism.
5 seconds.
I guess that suggests the Dawnbreaker will be a carry, and they'll last pick a support, or the Dawnbreaker's support, but we haven't been seeing much of that. They take out the Huskar with a ban. Huskar we've been seeing, like, he was already pretty solid, and we've been seeing even more of him lately. After the new patch, he got some changes to his facets and such
10 seconds
that
to
I think
go.
people are enjoying. Seen pros not even necessarily saving it for last pick. Just kind of crazy. That's for a long time been considered a kind of cheesy hero that you catch the enemy team off guard in the draft with your last pick Huskar. So the fact that it can be picked earlier in the draft means that it's looking pretty strong right now. See, on Arpaz 1 is Legend, the Troll Warlord tells us that the Magnus is not carry, so the Magnus is probably going to be offlane or mid. The fact that they picked it up this early in the draft tells me more likely offlane, and that seems to be what HPGG is thinking with the Huskar ban. So they're looking for a mid laner to round out this draft. You wouldn't mind somebody that benefits from the Empower, but I don't think you want to fully play around that, especially when you've already got a Troll Warlord. Somebody that plays well with the Pugna and Clockwork would be good. Magnus is going to want to play a little bit of his own game other than when he has Reverse Polarity up. Clockwork and Pugna are both really good at creating early pressure. Pugna wants to be pushing down your towers, and Clockwork wants to just be hookshotting onto people and starting fights. So if Magnus and Troll Warlord are both off farming, you really need a mid laner that's going to support this. Something like a Queen of Pain, a Spirit. I mean, even without the mana restore on Pugna, like Pugna Storm Spirit's still perfectly fine. You could maybe double down on the tower pressure and go for like a Leshrac as somebody else that will benefit from the Decrepify on Pugna. Interesting. Arpaz 1 is Legend bans out 2 carries, so they seem to think that one of these 3 cores, most likely the Dawnbreaker, is actually a support. I guess there's a world where you could play Death Prophet support.
10 seconds to go.
It's probably not the worst thing. They haven't played the Death Prophet yet this year on HPG.
Radiant's pick.
Muerta. So yeah, I think that's, I mean, it could be a carry Muerta, but I'm guessing that's a position for Muerta, because that's where we usually see her right now. The silence will be pretty good for disrupting the combos on like Clockwork and Magnus's initiation. So I like that. I like having the calling for that reason. It can attack through the Decrepify, so it really really reduces the effectiveness of the Pugna save, particularly if Muerta is a core. Tiny going to be picked up by Arpaz 1 as Legend, so I think that'll be a tiny mid. Also curious if we'll see the new facet, or the new Aghanim Scepter from Muerta. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's increased damage, and it pierces through enemies, so it could be pretty good. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see how they use it. I'm not as familiar with these players' positions, so I'll wait until we're in game to make any conclusions about where they're playing these heroes. As far as Hat's draft goes, I really like that Clockwork. I was tempted to buy a lot of the Collector's Cash set treasures, like, just to get that Clockwork set. It's really good. I like the Troll Warlord. It's like a classic one, not super shiny or anything, but it looks pretty good. The Turtle Tiny is excellent. with that coral from, I think, an older... Yeah, because the Turtle Tiny has a palm tree. So that's a nice little combo. Jaeger Knight's got a good mix of stuff on the Dawnbreaker. Let's miss Snow on the Death Prophet that I think he normally plays support. I mean, that does mean it's a support Death Prophet. But I think this team swaps their roles around a good amount as well. I think they're happy to play based on whatever heroes they're comfortable with, rather than whatever positions they're comfortable with. Yeah, hats. They both smoked up, so now it's harder to see. I think Arpod's one is Legend wins it mostly on this Clockwork set that I really like. See, I'm curious how these teams, especially smoked up, are going to play around their runes. With the changes to the jungle with these rivers, the rune is a lot harder to contest at early levels, I think. You're committing really deep if you're going to try to steal this jungle rune, because it's down on this low ground behind like the main high ground of your jungle. So it looks like both teams are going to be content to take their own side's runes as HPGG burns through their tips. See, Bork is going to look over here, but yeah, won't quite be there in time, so SLA is going to get that Bounty Urine. Bounty Urines will just be totally split 50-50, no big contention for them. We'll get right into... This is Miss Snow mid on the Death Prophet, and I see an Ember Spirit and Dawnbreaker heading bot. I thought the one hero I felt pretty confident about was the Ember Spirit being mid, so now I'm less sure about their positions. This Ember Spirit does have Observers and a Blood Grenade. Is this a... I think this might be a position 4 Ember, which I am excited to see how this plays out for them. See once they start last hitting. Tiny versus Death Prophet, I think is going to be fairly Death Prophet favored in this lane, although just the cleave from Tiny might be hard for the Death Prophet to deal with. Has that incoming damage delay though, so that will help a decent amount. Up top, the Muerta Crystal Maiden lane has the potential to be pretty threatening. I think Pugna is kind of happy fighting into that, but this feels like it's going to be a tough lane for the Magnus. We're kind of already seeing, obviously we're only one wave in, so it's going to even out pretty quickly. Yeah, Magnus sitting the lowest on health around the map so far. It is the Dawnbreaker getting last hits down here. Bork does have a couple. I was casting a game for HPGG at the beginning of the season where they ran a Viper as a second hero in the mid lane as a support, as they're going to go right up under the tower, get caught up in the cogs, and that's going to be First Blood. Jaeger Knight bringing down Black Joe's Clockwork. Notice from those cogs, Black Joe does in fact have the hookup facet, so I'm excited to see that come into play once the Clockwork gets level 6. So Magnus is still sitting pretty low up here. Yeah, the position for Ember Spirit. Oh, charging forward on Dimitri, gonna pick up a double kill on the Magnus. Both Sari and Dimitri getting a bit low, but Ottoman Empire and 8s are gonna be the ones to go down. For as long as this Magnus was sitting on low health, able to charge forward and take out the both of them. So, like, was that hitting the level 2 timing? Were they? Yeah, okay, they were also level 2. A big swing. And yeah, so Magnus is still universal. List cap. Oh, they're gonna get a nice wraparound inside the creep wave. Gets Jaeger Knight a bit of a tricky spot, but with the dire creep wave arriving, it's gonna eat up some of Black Joe's battery assault. That's going to give Jaeger Knight the chance to escape. Black Joe does a nice job getting over to the new Lotus pools to pick up the first Lotus of the game. Up top, the Lotus was picked up by Sari. So our +1 is Legend secures both of the Lotuses for their side lanes. They'll have that slight advantage for themselves. From the mid lane, pretty even so far. More denies on the side of SLA. They're getting a bit better out of the start of the lane. Up top, Sari falling low. Still trying to get those Nether Blasts in there to crepifies himself, but it's not enough. Skewer forward from Dimitri, but pushing them under the tower means they won't feel confident enough to try to finish out either of these kills. The Glacial Guard is one of the new facets on Crystal Maiden. Increased radius on Crystal Nova and gives a physical damage barrier. And more physical damage on CM. 80 barrier at level 1, 40 for the ally. It's a nice little way to help skirmish in lane. Not going to do too much for dealing with the Pugna, but the Magnus will be putting out a good mix of physical damage. Ooh, they get the Skewer and the Nether Blast. Get a nice little pick off. The nuke damage from this Pugna Magnus lane is pretty significant, and Ottoman Empire gets brought down by that. And Sari already getting a good number of Nether Blast hits in on the tower. Similar fight to what we saw before. Jaeger Knight gonna get up under the tower. Bork not inside the cogs this time, so they don't have as much damage into Black Joe. And the Clockwork will be able to escape. Granola farming pretty happily while all of this brawling is happening, though. 24-1 so far. Jaeger Knight not far behind, though, and has 5 denies, so pretty even on that front so far. Yeah, all in all, across the board, it looks like the biggest difference is in the mid lane for the moment, and even that's only, like, a wave of last hits, and the 11 denies is pretty significant. We're going to see SLA hit level 6 first. Tiny doesn't have a crazy power spike at level 6, as we get another pair of kills up top. Sari picks up the double kill, bringing down these heroes under the tower, so this Magnus Pugna lane is really dishing out the damage in this lane. They bring down 2 more heroes. Yeah, just these Nether Blasts. Level 3 on Shockwave means the nuke damage is pretty big. 230 damage. Those, and where did our friend Pugna go? Off to do some stacking. 170 damage from that. That's a lot of damage to hit both heroes with. And the CM Huerta is, like, not lacking in damage themselves, but is kind of lacking in health. And especially with that magic damage coming out, it means that new Glacial Guard is not doing too much to keep them alive from these spells. You have level 6 available on both of the mid laners. Amplify Damage Rune. Oh wow, that still says double damage in the tooltip. That's funny. Amplify Damage Rune picked up by SLA. We'll see if that comes into play and maybe looks to set up a gank. Tiny did see some decent changes as well. I think the biggest one is the units tossed no longer taking additional damage from Avalanche. That is pretty significant to his ability to nuke down heroes. Ooh, Black Joe getting in. Ooh, the scan is out. They're going to see that this is coming, and they get over there in time to stop the channel. The cogs are there to block them out. Black Joe secures the rune. Can Black Joe get out of here? Is going to go for the TP, but they have a root from Bork. The Searing Chains are there. They're going to be able to bring down the Clockwork, but not before the damage is done. Wisdom Rune secured. Our +1 is Legend, getting both of the Wisdom Runes. Now, with Pugna away getting the Wisdom Rune, that does mean that 8's an Ottoman Empire. We mentioned that they are not lacking in damage themselves, and they are able to bring down Dimitri. So, a good couple of kills here for HPGG, as we start to get to the point where the laning phase is not as active. Sari comes over to mid, offers a tango to SLA, but you can no longer refill your mid laner's bottle by TPing to them after a death. So the Tiny is still going to be sitting pretty low on mana here, and that might be enough to prevent potential go. We did get the Exorcism used, and not too much damage dealt to the tower, so SLA able to stave off the danger of the first Exorcism of the game from Miss Snow. Again, Arcane Rune on SLA that's going to fill up that mana again and make those cooldowns a little scary. See if SLA looks to make a play off of that. With both supports here, they have the potential to look for something up top. Dimitri left alone. We'll see if 8s and Honorman Empire want to try to make another play on the Magnus. It looks like for now they're okay with it. We do have diminishing returns, so not the continuous empower, which is why we don't see the extra empower. As 3 heroes going to make their way top, heading up, they're going to throw the RP down onto the Muerta, and 8s is going to fall. Get the slow and the vision from the Rocket player. Black Joe looking to chase forward onto Honorman Empire. Doesn't have the mana available for a Frostbite to keep Black Joe at bay, but it looks like the move speed from the Tranquil Boots will be enough to carry this Crystal Maiden out of danger and prevent a follow-up kill. You're going to get Miss Snow rotating up here to try to get a return kill. The life drain coming out from Snarry means Miss Snow's actually the one in trouble, but Jaeger Knight's going to come in with their response. Has the Solar Guardian, Bork in the area as well. They've brought 4 heroes up here on HPGG, and with 8 respawning, it's actually going to be all 5. Our Pulse 1's Legend is mostly rotated out of the top lane. Dimitri's still kind of sniffing around in the area, looking to keep farming in this lane. See if HPGG want to make a play on this, but it looks like they're going to make their way back to their respective lanes. So they getting that mana up with a Clarity. Looks like they kind of traded Clarities on their heroes, which is fun. EP from Ottoman Empire over to bot tower, maybe making to look a play. Granola is sitting a little low on this Troll Warlord. Doesn't have the mana for Battle Trance at the moment. About 60 mana short, so if they can find a play here, he won't have the escape and survive from the Battle Trance. They're going to go forward, has the Starbreaker heading back, and the Sleight of Fist is there from Bork, and Black Joe looking to stave off Jaeger Knight, has the wand on both sides, so both are just going to turn and walk away. SLA get out as well. There's the blink forward from SLA into the toss with the crash landing damage. Going to find the kill on Ottoman Empire, so they get a return kill, but overall HPGG going to be very happy with that trade. Position 5 for position 1 is about the best 1-for-1 trade you can get, slowing down that Troll Warlord's farm. As SLA up at the top of the net worth to get things started here at 11 minutes into game 1. Head back over to mid lane, throw out the Avalanche to clear off the wave. Miss Snow did get a good chunk of damage with the Exorcism with the help of the Siege Creep, so that mid tower is getting brought down. So that's starting to see that Death Prophet come into play a little more with that tower push potential. And start seeing some of the new neutral items coming out. First one is going to be the Mana Draft with Mystical, so lots of mana for the Death Prophet. Alongside the Mana Boots and Falcon Blade, and the Snow is going to be able to cast spells to her heart's content here. What else did we get? Was it... Ooh, Ripper's Lash on the Troll Warlord. That's a nice one to get for the Troll. Quickened as well, so you can be able to really stick on targets with the Phase Boots. And just lay into them with these Fervor stacks.
This'll come in handy.
See, down bot, SLA blinking forward with the Avalanche. We've got Dimitri rotating in. Hookshot comes through. That's going to keep Jaeger Knight locked down. That was... I would have thought that that counted as a hookup hookshot. Kind of surprised that it didn't, because I thought Granola was right in that area, and SLA as well. All 5 heroes bot. Our Pulse 1's Legend going to get to work on this bottom tier 1 tower. That'll go down nice and quickly. Snow playing up in the area, but Granola not going to venture into the triangle. So we'll be safe to get out here. Got a Falcon Blade on the Muerta as well, working towards that Maelstrom, pretty close to it. Overall, her farm's been going pretty well, even with those few deaths in the lane. It's is pretty on top of things, second in the net worth, so getting plenty of blast hits. Ooh, is going to get a little bit chain stunned by the ogres. But that's just farming jungle camps in Dota these days. Get a rotation from Ottoman Empire through the Twin Gate. Looks like we have another exorcism available for the Death Prophet, so should be just looking to get some tower pressure down here. Brings the creep wave in, pops the exorcism. We are going to get a response from our +1 Legend here. Snow pops the illusion rune. Decrep into Life Drain on Ottoman Empire, going to try to chase forward. The axes don't quite connect from Granola, but there's the hook shot from Black Joe. Pushback from the Cogs. SLA up on top of Miss Snow. Jaeger Knight coming in. Ottoman Empire does get finished off. RP to follow up after Jaeger Knight connects, and the AoE damage is coming through. Skewer back, and they're going to be able to bring down Miss Snow, and Jaeger Knight will follow after. Bork comes in with a Sleight of Fist into the Searing Chains, but with both allies dead, SLA is just going to be the one chasing for more. Toss into the Avalanche, and Bork goes down as well, so it's a 1-for-4. Huge fight for our +1 Legend, and that's going to happen right at the 14-minute mark, which means Sari is going to immediately go up, steal themselves another Wisdom Shrine for the Radiant side, and that's going to be a big swing in our +1 Legend's favor. 2k net worth gained, plus that XP. They should have... Did this XP... No, this is still available. Black Joe's can get that one. So all 4 Wisdom Shrines getting taken by our +1 Legend so far. So if I flip over to our XP per minute, or our... Ooh, we're going to get a hook shot. So back to that in a moment. Eights is going to go into the Pierce the Veil and actually completely punish Black Joe for that hook shot. No follow-up for the Clockwork, and so Eights gets themselves a nice little kill. What did I want? I wanted hero level. Yeah. We've got Sari and Black Joe are actually now ahead of Jaeger Knight, or Black Joe's tied. That's the difference that the XP rune is making there. Getting these guys above the enemy offlaner is pretty significant. And with the 15-minute timing, our +1 Legend is going to look to further their lead. They pick up the first Tormentor for themselves. This is something we're seeing a lot for priority in pro games, is really emphasizing taking that Tormentor right at 15 minutes. With only one Tormentor between the two teams now, it's a little more important as Black Joe is going to hookshot forward onto Jaeger Knight, trying to keep this Dawnbreaker locked down. SLA finishes off with CM off to the side, then Jaeger Knight's going to get cleaned up. Decrepify to keep Black Joe alive for the moment. Exorcism popped by Miss Snow, but that's going to allow our +1 Legend to disengage. They don't want to mess with the Exorcism, even with 5 heroes down here. Already a little low from the last fight, so they will respect it and back away. SLA going to find a haste rune over in the mid lane and make their way to pick up some creeps over here. Got the Blink Dagger that we've seen on Dimitri's Magnus going right into the Ags for the Horn Toss, where it really maximize the catch that you have on this team. There's already so much with Tiny's Blink Dagger, with the toss back, with the hook shot from Clockwork. It's a scary team, and that's going to be another demonstration of it as SLA blinks forward, gets the Avalanche, and gets the quick pick-off on Ottoman Empire. So even with the adjustments to the Avalanche toss combo, SLA showing us that Tiny is still able to pretty easily nuke down these squishier support targets. Especially helps when you're the highest net worth in the game, but really just has the Blink Dagger to work with for the moment. Looking at an Echo Saber, so going to kind of go into a right-click build, not rely as much on the magic damage. Be curious to see. I mean, that's going to, alongside the Pugna, their tower push is going to be pretty huge. They're going to look to set up for something up top. 8's farming a little low, but it's going to be Bork that's the target. Hookshot there to follow up. Bork already dead. 8's is going to be able to walk out of this. Throws down a calling just to be sure that they can get out of there. And that's going to open the door for our +1 Legend to start hitting the last of the Tier 1 towers on the Dire side. SLA will grab a tree. And yeah, even it's level 1 tree, but it's a Tier 1 tower, so that thing's going to go down quite quickly. 8k net worth lead at 18 minutes now. that Tormentor is such a huge bump in net worth, because on top of the free 1,400 gold for one of your heroes, which I didn't actually catch who that went to. It was the Pugna, and that is the AoE life drain on Netherward. That has the potential, especially into the Avalanche and RP. We could see a good chunk of damage coming out from Sari with that shard. But yeah, on top of the shard for your Pugna, also getting some net worth for each of your heroes from that Tormentor. That's why we see them prioritize it so much. And it's going to be right into the Roshan pit now after the last of those tier 1 towers are gone. Not going to be something HPGG can really feasibly contest here. This one's going to be pretty free for our Pos1L Legend to take down. Granola on the Troll Warlord is, of course, quite the strong Roshan taker. So they'll bring that one down, give the Aegis over to the Tiny to really let SLA keep pushing the pressure here. We're going to get a hook shot onto Bork, into the Avalanche. The Shockwave's there, able to slight a fist away. Gets a few remnants off, one more into the high ground, and Bork is going to escape here. Able to survive that big initial go. As no hesitation with this Aegis on the Tiny. Our Pos1L Legend, they know that they are in the lead here and want to keep things snowballing. Ooh, this Tumbler's Toy coming back into the neutral item pool. Very nice for Clockwork, especially with the hookup. Up top, Eights and Jaeger Knight find a casual kill on Granola's Troll Warlord. They get... yeah, just the calling into Solar Guardian. Now, they are going to look for a punish here. Jaeger Knight going to get found farming their way back in the jungle. Our Pos1L Legend sweeping through there. Able to pick up that Dawnbreaker. So they get some revenge, but it is a nice way to alleviate some of the pressure that's building up. And also get some more gold in the pocket of your Muerta, who is still sitting second in net worth, has that Maelstrom finished alongside the Hurricane Pike, or sorry, the Dragon Lance, working on the full Hurricane Pike, pretty close to it. Actually has the Hurricane Pike recipe before the Force Staff recipe, which is a little funky, but not going to make a big difference. You don't really care about getting the Force Staff. There's a short window of time where you could have that in your inventory before it's just going to become the Hurricane Pike anyway. So that whole thing will come out, and if I just waited a little bit longer, I would have been right about saying that she has the full Hurricane Pike. So yeah, this Muerta pretty well equipped right now. Hookshot goes out, does not quite connect with Ottoman Empire or Eights. Fortify used, but Sari is just blowing away these towers with the Nether Blast. That's going to be the first of the Tier 2 towers falling on the Dire side. Granola already getting this wave pushed up top. They're going to rotate over. SLA is going to find a quick pick-off on the Crystal Maiden once again. The Tiny mid, who's having a good game, makes it really difficult to be a Crystal Maiden and just exist. Most likely looking for a D-ward or just kind of trying to keep an eye on the enemies as they rotate towards the top lane. Gets found, gets blown up. Yeah, with Granola's damage from those fast right clicks and fervor stacks. Oh, they're going to find a catch down here in the bot lane as well. Miss Snow getting tossed back. Horn Toss is available into the Skewer. They're going to use the RP as well. They're going to make sure there's absolutely no chance that this Death Prophet is able to escape, that they find another kill and keep the ball rolling down the hill for our Pos1L Legend. Eights making the way up into the triangle. Does have vision on the Troll Warlord farming here. Pops the calling, but doesn't have the control to keep Granola locked down, and this guy is quite fast. Doesn't have the quickened enchantment on the new Brigand's Blade, or returning Brigand's Blade, in the neutral slot, but still just very fast hero. Almost hasted when using the phase boots. 541. It is. You need the catch if you want to bring down this Troll Warlord. Otherwise, we'll just be able to escape. We got first support items. We've seen the Spirit Vessel from Sari getting into action. Orchid on the Clockwork. So really looking to make sure that there's no chance of escape via the spells, like the Celestial Hammer on the Dawnbreaker, like the Sleight of Fist on Bork alongside the Remnants. Orchid going to make it really hard for these heroes to get out when Clockwork gets the initiation. And with the follow-up from SLA and Dimitri, that means that going to be hard to survive in these games. SLA jumping right up into the high ground. Eights, though, has the turnaround, gets some fast shots off with the Hurricane Pike. SLA will be forced to retreat for the moment. 20 seconds left on the Aegis, so our +1 Legend may be looking to make use out of that, or just going to kind of take shelter, let it expire, make sure they don't give HPGG anything free right as it expires. They'll get mid pushing back in, join up with Granola. We're going to see Harry Potter and the Glizzy Goblet move out onto the map a little bit now, trying to get this bottom lane pushed back out as our +1 Legend retreats. But our +1 Legend still kind of playing in the area. Black Joe leading the charge, looking for somewhere to hookshot, for someone to lock down. Not finding somebody immediately. Eight's a little bit in danger up here. Gonna make their way back to base without getting found. Smoke up on HPGG for 3 heroes. Like Miss Snow, gonna look to connect with this as well. But it kind of just immediately pops. They want to clear that wave out, and so they burn some right clicks on it. Well, meanwhile, up in the top lane, they spot out Jaeger Knight, but able to TP away after connect. And now Jaeger Knight immediately gonna connect back in. They found both of the supports with this smoke. On top of the Pugna is going to go down. Black Joe falling a little bit low. Do they have any way to catch this guy? Dimitri is there as well. Bork wanting to chase forward. Celestial Hammer. They get the slow. They get the root. Blade Mail's there. Jaeger Knight comes through, but now SLA. The toss back over towards Bork. Tries to finish off the Ember Spirit, not quite enough damage. Now they have the root. BKB forced out. Big RP onto 2 for Dimitri. Jaeger Knight going to come in and try to alleviate some of the pressure, but immediately stunned up. Dimitri trying to escape, but is going to get rooted up and brought down. Granola looking to connect, gets off the ult, and is able to tear apart Miss Snow. Now turns over to Jaeger Knight, but as soon as that battle trance ends, the Troll Warlord falls. So that is by far the best fight we've seen from the side of HPGG in a while. Only losing the Death Prophet, bringing down 4 heroes, only missing out on, I mean, really the most valuable hero at this point in SLA, but still very happy to get those 4 kills. Huge swing, even despite losing all those Wisdom Shrines. Now having the lead on XP and that win probability getting brought down closer as looking to defend the towers, but SLA is here to back up the sports this time. They're in onto 8. Hurricane Pike is there, but it's not going to be enough. The tree is there right on time. Sari is going to buy back. They don't want to give up this tier 2 tower. Smoke up. They want to chase. Bork a little low. SLA is going to have the eyes on the Ember Spirit, but that's a hard hero to track down. Blink forward from SLA, has the toss up and brings down Bork. Godlike streak for SLA as our +1 Legend immediately answers back. Do have to use a buyback to make that happen, but they get a huge kill in the form of 8's Morta, and then also get that additional kill on Bork. And they're going to get vision onto Ottoman Empire. Toss forward for Sari into the Nether Blast. Hookshot is there for Black Joe. Nice low cooldown from that hookup facet. And they bring down the other support for HPGG. Finding the Crystal Maiden, trying to reclaim control of that outpost. Sari's going to take that right back, and it looks like our +1 Legend going to look to take control of the bottom part of the map, maybe pick up another Tormentor for themselves, or maybe just farm in this area. You've got this new Ancient Camp over here, but it is going to be the Tormentor that they go for. We've already got Shard on Tiny, again going for that kind of right-clicky build. It's going to go to the Clockwork Jetpack, get Black Joe a little bit more mobility for the Clockwork. Give them an opportunity to reposition, get some better vision in fights. Fun little shard to work with, especially with the hookshot. If you get that low cooldown from hookup, gives you a good opportunity to try to find multiple hookshots within a fight. That one will, I expect to see come into play. BKB on its way for the Magnus. Make it even harder to prevent These big reverse polarities that we've already been seeing come out from Dimitri. SLA got the eyes on Jaeger Knight, but Ottoman Empire's there as well. Has the Avalanche, but going to be forced to back away in the end. Got the Searing Signet on Tiny. New neutral item with the patch coming in. Kind of feels like Dragon Scale, but for magic damage. If you deal 40 damage or more with magic damage, they get a 75 damage burn effect. So just a nice little addition to these kind of nuker heroes. I've been trying it on Clockwork as well, just because like any of his abilities will ignite it. Nice little damage boost, though the Tumbler's toy is also very useful. Back into the Roach Pit. And get that roar coming out from Roach, so that will alert HPGG to the fact that this Roach is being taken, but 9k net worth down. It'll be hard for them to try to contest this. Jaeger Knight over in the mid lane and farming up, and probably going to be forced to back up a bit here. Roton's banner going to be picked up by Sari, Aegis picked up by Granola this time. BKB available is there as well, and 8 is going to be farming in a tough spot. Dimitri spots them out. Hookshot's going to miss, but they have the Avalanche, they have the toss, they have the damage. I think Dimitri will finish it off as she goes into the Pierce the Veil, Shockwave, and Skewer through to finish off the Muerta. Able to find a really crucial pick to get this Aegis timing started. It's going to make it pretty difficult for HPGG to combat this one. Black Joe going to keep the pressure on the waves going out with that rocket flare across the map. SLA splitting off from the team to get bottom wave pushing in. See if this... I imagine they want to use this Aegis to try to properly break high ground here. They've gotten a little bit of damage onto just the one tower. We'll see where they end up going with this Aegis. Kind of getting a big smoke through. Jaeger Knight is going to see that they're in danger, but Black Joe is going to immediately get the jump in. They're going to use the RP, no chance to BKB TP away. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, SLA is the one getting jumped on by HPGG. They have the damage through this BKB, though. Avalanche slows them down. Jaeger Knight does manage to escape away, as it looks like our Pulse 1 is Legend going to try to make sure that SLA gets out of the jam down bot. 8's joining up with the team on the respawn now, getting scouted out by Black Joe. Sets up the calling to make sure that if anyone wants to jump on them, they can't do it. Bork now going to jump in with the Slight Chains. And Sari is going to get left behind and picked off, so nice find for HPGG. Not the hero they were initially looking for, but any picks you can find during this Aegis timing for our Pause 1 is Legend is going to be pretty big. I'm going to start looking forward for more as well. Granola farming in the area is the one carrying the Aegis. Black Joe scouting things out here with SLA and Dimitri as well. 8's going to kind of move forward, spots out Black Joe, maybe doesn't see the cores sitting behind him initially. Go back to farming. Pretty just kind of sitting close to each other, but respecting each other's space. Wave's going to come in, but SLA and Dimitri are there to clean this up. The Snow going to start getting some damage over to the tower as well. Get Searing Chains, but Black Joe interrupts what they're looking for here, but still taking tons of damage from 8, even through the Blade Mail. Granola in. Aegis is going to fall. SLA is here, but so is Jaeger Knight with the Solar Guardian. Granola immediately going to go into the Battle Trance, setting up onto the Snow through the BKB, going to bring down the Death Prophet. Now Jaeger Knight back in. Granola getting torn apart now. The damage from Werth is huge. 8's over on the side. Jaeger Knight setting up the control. They bring down the Troll Warlord again. Now SLA. BKB is going to be running out. HPGG. The Horn Toss, though, from Dimitri. Skewers them both back away from SLA. 8's still laying in the damage, but now is back onto the 2 after the Skewer. 8's chasing forward. It's going to bring down Sari. SLA brings down Jaeger Knight. And in the end, it's 2 left standing on our Pause 1 is Legend, just 8 standing on HPGG. Huge fight for both sides. SLA wants to clean up this wave, blinks forward, blinks too far, but now they find 8's. They get the Skewer forward, gets the Fear over to SLA, brings down Dimitri before falling. And so in a massive fight, Black Joe's back up, but really it's just SLA left standing in a massive team fight that overall, I mean, this doesn't involve those last two kills. It's pretty dead even on that one. Both teams bring down everybody or almost everybody. So just absolute chaos. They do bring down the tier 2 tower here as well, and they got the Aegis off of our Pause 1 Legend. So overall, especially considering how the game's been going, I feel like that, even if the net worth went a little bit more in our Pause 1 Legend's favor at the end, I feel like that was a good fight for HPGG. Also just gives you a lot of confidence that you can still take these fights, and their positioning is going to be really critical for that. This position 4 Ember Spirit, who it looks like it's transitioning kind of just into a full carry build with the Manta style out on the way. Doing quite a bit to initiate these fights, and now is going to be pretty happy to farm up with the Maelstrom. Oh, SLA has found Ottoman Empire. Bork is there. Not going to be able to save the Crystal Maiden, though. The crash landing damage is just way too much. Will be another kill for SLA, who continues on, I believe, a Beyond Godlike now. 13-0-11. It's actually not in doubt, because the guy hasn't died. Sorry, scouting out is going to see Bork, but Bork has the Remnant to be able to get up to the high ground. So I'm going to push out these waves. Has to be a little careful. Nice dead shot from Huerta to make sure SLA cannot get a catch onto Bork. They're going to throw down the banner that they still had from the Roach. It's a little shallow. They're actually going to be able to pull these creeps back and kill them off anyway. But that is enough to get the high ground broken, get the backdoor protection turned off. Granola able to bring down that tower. This guy is just laying in damage. Has the S&Y finish, plus the Brigand's Blade. Just all those natural stats, about 300 damage on this Troll Warlord. With the Empower, that's the other big source of damage on the Troll Warlord. So seeing that come into play more as we get farther into the game. Got one barrack taken down. Don't get the melee barracks, so they will eventually have the Fortify reset available. But it looks like they have their fortification for the moment as well. They can maybe use that before those barracks go down. See if our Pause 1 Legend actually decide, because of that, to pivot towards taking a different tower. It'll be a little bit harder without the Roshan's banner, but they didn't get too much out of it anyway. As Sari moves over to pick up the outpost, also kind of spotting out Bork here. If they're going to go on a chase here, Jaeger Knight's in the area as well. Sari, I think, wants to find this Ember Spirit, but I do not know how you expect to bring down an Ember Spirit solo as a Pugna. He's just going to slight back to his base. But you at least stop the push, if only for the moment. Looks like didn't leave a remnant behind, so we'll be committed to sitting back in base. Our Pause 1 Legend going to maintain control of Dire Jungle, but as much as the map has changed, there's still plenty of farm to be found in safe places when you feel backed into your base. So Jaeger Knight going to clean up this new ancient camp over on the top side. You've also got the amphibious camps growing larger. Not full ancients yet, but I don't know. I don't remember which camps are which for what they can become. Oh, these guys are the ancients. Okay. Smoke up now from our Pause 1 Legend. Oh, if they catch 8s. Dimitri gets the jump in, the horn toss, the skewer back into the Avalanche. Jaeger Knight is going to try to get in, but the RP is going to make sure that they find the kill before Jaeger Knight's able to connect. Can they get a response here? All of the BKBs out. Miss Snow trying to stand in the middle with that Exorcism, but the damage coming out from Granola and SLA is going to be too much. Battle Trance does have to be used. Hook shot over onto Ottoman Empire. SLA going to look to connect with that, but Jaeger Knight getting in with the Starbreaker, holding Black Joe into place. SLA does get the blow up on the CM. Bork, though, on their own, finds the kill on Granola. Dimitri going to try to punish them for it. Sorry with the life drain, and the Orchid, as Black Joe arrives, means that Bork will not be able to escape. It's a pretty important kill, but at the end of the day, you still lose 4 heroes on the side of HPGG, and even without the Troll Warlord, you're still going to have an empowered Tiny, and look at the damage between that and the Nether Blasts. You do not care about backdoor protection here. Just going to chunk away at these barracks. Creeps are going to arrive now. They do have that Fortify. It's about to get reset, so they'll be able to stall this out a little bit longer. It's going to get them to Myth Snow's respawn, and Ottoman Empire will not be far behind. The barracks will fall. They're going to turn their attention over to the mid lane now. And just absurd damage from this Tiny. It's going to blink away before Jaeger Knight gets the chance to initiate. They know that they don't have all of their BKBs, so they are going to respect the respawns of HPGG. SLA, we haven't checked in on the items too recently. It's Aghanim Scepter Daedalus, so this guy does absolutely stupid damage with this Tiny. About to hit level 25 as well, for either that Avalanche cooldown or the Toss charges. Not huge for the right-click build. There are bigger level 25 timings that you can find, but both of those things are going to be pretty helpful for controlling these fights for SLA. They think about taking the Roche. They end up backing out for now, maybe waiting for another item timing for Granola. Who has the Skull Bastard done, is bringing out... Looks like the Ags is going to be next. Get the Dispels on the Whirling Axes. Pretty useful overall. Now Granola will connect with them in the Roche Pit. Could be the third Roche. Once again, going to HPGG Legend. Had the map control for much of this game, even when the team fights have been pretty swinging in either direction. Been pretty on top of having control of the map, and it's going to be a Refresher Shard for the Magnus. That is a scary proposition. All of a sudden, you have two reverse polarities to contend with throughout these fights. Double BKB, double everything else as well. You gotta be really careful with your positioning for Harry Potter and the Glizzy Goblets now.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Vision comes out from Jaeger Knight. They're gonna see them moving down towards bot. 8's gonna go for the TV out. Oh my goodness. That Avalanche was about as close as it can be. 8's is clenching right now. That was scary. Like HPGG Legend. Not going to go for as quick of the Aegis timing as well. They kind of fought immediately off of their last two Aegises. This time they're going to chain into another objective, going to pick up their third Tormentor of the game. Find that over on the Dire side. It'll be another uncontested objective. Black Joe's going to get brought down a little low, but not too bad. It's going to be the Aghanim Shard for Magnus. It's additional range and damage on skewering enemy, or increases range, and then additional damage if they hit a tree or cliff. As they're going to scan and find Jaeger Knight over here. It's a good target to find because there's not going to be a save available, and Sari's going to have the life drain to finish off the Dawnbreaker. So after a few more back and forth fights, things looking pretty firmly in control for HPGG Legend, sitting at about an 80% win probability. 8's in a dangerous spot. Blink up, spotting out Ottoman Empire. That's going to be the first one to fall. Cogs push back onto 8's. Going to go into the Pierce the Veil. It's a pretty good option for dealing with SLA. Getting chunked down, even through the BKB, pretty big, and SLA is going to fall. First death for the Tiny of the game. Dimitri gets the skewer back, sets up the RP, has the Refresher Shard, but is falling low. Second RP goes out, but Dimitri falls. Bork is there for the kill. Miss Snow getting in with the damage as well. Granola, though, starting to clean up, brings down Jaeger Knight and 8's. Miss Snow is going to be the next to go down. Granola holding them in place. Big damage coming out from Troll Warlord, helped out by those Dispels on that Aghanim Scepter. Hook shot looking for Bork, connects with Granola. Started to fall low, doesn't have a Battle Trance, does still have an Aegis, though. With a heal up from Sari and a damage amp rune for Granola. And it was a buyback for SLA as well as Jaeger Knight and Ottoman Empire. So at the end of the day, it's only 2 falling on the side of HPGG Legend and a total of 5 deaths for HPGG. as
Dyer's mid.
so I agree. The turtle is great, and having the coral is perhaps an even better fit than the palm tree that comes with. It's a nice combination of cosmetics there. With 3 dead on the side of HPGG and no buybacks available, SLA is going to get an avalanche, but Bork is going to be able to escape away with the remnants. It's going to be another set of barracks falling, and this might just be megas. It's going to be pretty hard for HPGG to stop this with 40 seconds left to go on Jaeger Knight's cooldown, death timer, and no buyback cooldown available. Bork is going to go in to try to disrupt this with the megas. They will be found before 8 is able to respawn. SLA, think about threatening those tier 4s and grab that creep wave instead. You have big damage from this Muerta back up. Bork, ooh, gonna get orchided up, but has the mana to dispel. Hookshot in, though. Oh, and the RP on 2 again. Stepping away, though, knowing that the Piercing Veil is coming out, knowing they don't have a ton of damage. SLA on top of Bork. This Ember Spirit has finally been brought down. Granola on top of Mist Snow, gonna tear apart the Death Prophet once again, and 8's getting kept alive for Jaeger Knight for the moment, bringing out the damage through the Pierce of the Veil. The Skewer comes out, they finally bring down Granola after killing 2 more. Tossed up in the air, 8 goes down, Jaeger Knight's the only one left standing, and no buybacks are available for HPGG. Triple kill for SLA. That's going to close it out. GG's are called, and Arpaz won his legend. Take game 1 with another crazy fight. They were in control for most of this game, but Harry Potter and the Glizzy Goblet did not make it easy for them. There was a lot of really competitive fights throughout that game. So despite it being, you know, somewhat one-sided when you look at the numbers, when you look at the graphs, definitely a very fun game to watch. Excited to see what we get in game 2. Let's see, who do we have for... I mean, MVP is a little easy. That's going to go to SLA. Semi-literate ape, apparently. It's their full name there. This 19, 1, and 17. This guy was running the entire game out of the mid lane. Support of the game, great performances from all this. Honestly, support of the game for me, despite the loss, it's going to Bork. This support Ember Spirit, I'm pretty convinced. I mean, kind of looking like a pause 4 hoodwink, of just, like, going for a kind of core build, kind of just playing as a 4th core. But the control from the chains, like, it really brought value to the team as a position 4, I felt, and was setting up a lot of fights, was a huge contributing factor in the fights that HPGG was winning, or going even in, or getting important kills in. I feel like Bork was always all over the place. Like, again, great performance from all of the supports. Tough game for the CM. Into this tiny. Black Joe also, especially with this Orchid was clutch. So, like, your support of the game for the winning team is Black Joe, but support of the game in general, I was really impressed by Bork's Ember Spirit. Alright, I'm excited to see what these teams bust out for game 2. We will be back with that in just a little bit. All right, everybody, we are back with game number 2 between our OP1L is Legend and Harry Potter and the Glizzy Goblet in week 4 of our We Like Dota League 2025 group stage here in the Quas Division. Couple of high MMR heavy hitters going at it, looking to pick up some wins as they've been off to a tough start to their seasons. Our OP1L is Legend took a pretty convincing game 1. There was back and forth, great showing from both teams. Ultimately, though, our OP1L is Legend, the ones who brought it home.
10 seconds
This time around, we get a pretty similar draft setup. HPGG opting to take second pick with their selection priority. Our OP1L is Legend taking the Radiant side. Very similar bans to start things off for game 2. I think these are the exact same first 3 bans we saw. So HPGG still feeling pretty confident about their strategy. And I think for good reason. I think, despite the numbers, that was a pretty close game. Alchemist's going to be taken out earlier in the draft this time. It was banned in the last phase. Our OP1L is Legend perhaps worried that HPGG will see that that's available and that they weren't banning it until late, and so will take it earlier in the draft this time around, so not going to risk that. Does mean the Abaddon is getting let through. That was something our OP1L is Legend banned last time around. That's been very popular hero to flex between core and support roles. I'm guessing the fact that they're leaving it in the pool means that they're trying to take advantage of having first pick, force HPGG to use one of their bans on it. And if they do not use one of their bans on it, then our OP1L is Legend, I think, will pick that up with their first pick. We'll see if HPGG chooses to take it out. They're going to take out the Magnus this time around, which was the first pick. First phase pick from our OP1L is Legend last game. And Dimitri played a hell of a game on it.
5 seconds.
It was, genuinely just played a really good Magnus game. Only got upstaged from SLA going I think it was 19-1 on Tiny. Just absolute crazy game from that guy. Dragon Knight going to be the final ban. So the Abaddon will be left in. Let's see if they choose to take it out. And yeah, I agree with this Dragon Knight ban. I feel like that hero is still pretty cracked. Just cracked in a different way now. And it is going to be the Abaddon taking on first pick. The immediate response will be Lion. A little bit of a soft counter to the Abaddon. The Finger of Death can be scary for Abaddon. I play a decent amount of Abaddon. I have certainly gotten taken out by a Finger of Death with my ultimate still being available, and I needed to have manually popped it in anticipation of the Finger of Death. Abaddon does have good options for dispelling the stun and hex from Lion, so it's a bit of some of one, some of the other. In that matchup, I think the threat of the Finger of Death potentially makes you more interested in going the route of a support Abaddon. But we'll see where they decide to play this one. I think support Abaddon is also better than core Abaddon now because of the changes to universal heroes. The Abaddon is still universal, and so he does not get as much damage scaling as he used to.
10 seconds to go.
But we're still seeing it played successfully as a core in pro games, so what the hell do I know? The Dawnbreaker is going to be taken out, take that away from Jaeger Knight, who had a pretty good game on it, all things considered. The Doom banned out as well, so that's, I think, partially protecting the healing powers of the Abaddon, but perhaps setting up for another healing and or regen-dependent hero to be picked later in the draft. Or maybe somebody who's more vulnerable to, like, the silence, like a spirit hero or something. Lich taken out by HPGG, still a perfectly solid support. Probably not as S tier as he was last patch, but I don't think he really got hit heavily by nerfs. And they pick up the Nyx Assassin. Likely going to be their pause for, but this team is known to do some wild things, so I'm not going to make any assumptions. Nyx Assassin, I don't think got big changes. Let's see what I can find. They reworked the facet for Mind Flare to burn percentage of max mana. I genuinely don't remember what it did before. Might have just been like flat mana. Adjusted some other numbers on that guy. Lion, I don't think got big changes either.
5 seconds.
Mana Drain doesn't kill illusions anymore. The Jakiro was another hero that got banned out, so that's going to be picked up by our Pos1 Legend. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do with this, because it's been looking like a new, pretty top tier support hero, with that new damage facet, with the different liquid breaths. And then they follow that up with the Tide Hunters, so that kind of tells me they're looking more at going support with the Abaddon, unless they want to run a position 1 Abaddon, which is an option.
10 seconds to go.
But the Tide Hunter is pretty firmly stuck in the position 3 role.
5 seconds.
So we know where that guy will be. Good chance that this is a Jakiro Tide Hunter lane, though Jakiro would happily slot into the safe lane as well. Tide Hunter doesn't really mind the Nyx Assassin. The Nyx Assassin's going to be trouble for the Jakiro. We're probably going to see the Jakiro go like an early Glimmer Cape to help deal with that. I don't think we saw a lot of Glimmer Capes last game. The CM must have had one. Yeah, that item's still really good. They didn't really touch it. I don't think they touched it at all. I think the consensus is seeming like a lot of the changes for this patch were decided a while ago, because a lot of the more recent meta things didn't really get touched. Bristleback gonna get picked up. This guy got hit in some ways. He wasn't building Bloodstone as much, but he like really can't build Bloodstone anymore at all, because Bloodstone no longer gives you lifesteal for reflected damage, and Bristleback, his like passive quills are considered reflected damage. So he gets far less lifesteal from Bloodstone than he used to. So that's been a significant change. They also took away one of his facets, I think. But I might be wrong about that. And then the Centaur. Interesting to go Bristleback Centaur, because Centaur, like Tide Hunter, is pretty locked to position 3. Again, HPGG do weird things, so I'm not guaranteeing this is a position 3 Centaur. But if I'm assessing this draft like this is any team and not HPGG, I'd say the Centaur has to go position 3, which leaves the Bristleback. The Bristleback could go mid. But is more likely in the safe lane. And then Nyx Assassin would be your 4, Lion would be your 5. The Nyx Assassin and Lion both kind of like being 4 positions, so that maybe means there's more of a chance that one of those ends up going core. I think Lion is a Miss Snow support specialty. It's going to be Bloodseeker to get a punish for the Stampede on Centaur Warrunner. As well as some of the mobility on Nyx Assassin and Bristleback, who just have ways to move fast, like nothing crazy, but they are at risk of dealing more damage to themselves with Rupture. Bloodseeker is a hero that I would have thought was kind of dead from the patch, because his Ags, which was his like huge crucial part of his build, that got fully removed, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Blood Mist is gone. So I'm very interested to see how presumably Granola, if this is a position 1 Bloodseeker, is going to play this. Now we see the Drow Ranger getting banned out by HPGG. Maybe just protecting their tanky heroes if they're... But I would think that our Pos1 Legend is looking for a mid for their last overall pick. You could throw a Drow Ranger in the mid lane, but not as traditional. Our Pos1 Legend is banning out Outworld Destroyer to they're thinking that this Bristleback is carry, which I think is likely, and that the Nyx Assassin and Lion are not mid, which I think is the normal assumption to make. But again, I'm never going to presume to understand anything about an HPGG draft, because they're getting wild with it. Lena taken out for the side of HPGG. So yeah, they're worried about ranged heroes, which makes sense. They're pretty melee heavy right now. They do have decent ways of getting on that kind of hero, but both Drow and Lena would be pretty annoying to see come out from OP1L Legend. And with Tidehunter Bloodseeker, like, both sides are kind of looking for a ranged core here, and that's why we see 4 ranged cores getting banned out. Alright, OP1L Legend. They're going to pick up the Invoker. I believe that got banned. Yeah, that got banned out last game. So yeah, that should be their mid. The Bloodseeker will be carry. Arc Warden getting picked up by HPGG. That's going to be the hero for 8s, who last game was playing carry. Jaeger Knight was the off lane. Ottoman Empire was the 5 last game. I'm imagining these roles are changing, especially with Miss Snow on Essence Eater Lion. It's like guaranteed support Lion. So somebody's moving to the mid lane that is not Miss Snow, I'm fairly certain. Nothing spicy with OP1L Legends draft. Those are all going to the heroes that I would have expected. Guess it'll be a Bad and Bloodseeker lane. Hats draft. Good looking hats on both sides. Black Joe once again making me jealous. Having a skin that I like a lot for a hero that I play a lot, that I do not have. Back to back with the Clockwork and Abaddon sets. Across the board though, pretty good sets. I don't love the, like, I think it's like Dark Artistry Kid Invoker set. Not my favorite. This Bloodseeker set is simple, but it looks good. But HPGG are gonna win the hats draft for me. They've got a lot more particle effects. They've got the cool wraiths on the shoulders for 8.
Let's keep it clean, folks. Pathetic. That's the spirit.
So only a smoke up for OP1L Legend this time.
I've been to hell and back to hell and back.
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
See, we got the Exhort Facet for Invoker. That's for what little Invoker I've seen on the new patch. I think this one's been the popular one. Which I find a little disappointing because each of his facets have a different Ags now. And the Exhort Facet is the same Ags as it used to be. It's Cataclysm.
30 seconds to show
This Aghanim Shard is insane, though. I got crushed by an Invoker recently. Just spamming Forge Spirits because of the Ag Shard plus the Scepter. Because every time a Sunstrike hits somebody, you get a Forge Spirit, and so we just had tons of Forge Spirits. Might get a little bit of contention for these runes. Ottoman Empire and Bork gonna sneak out from behind the trees. They get the Impale onto SLA into the Hoof Stomp. Have the barrier to get SLA out of some of that damage. The Sunstrike's gonna come down and get the first blood on Bork. And Jaeger Knight tips their teammate there for giving that one up. Miss Snow joins in. So it is going to be Jaeger Knight mid lane with the Bristleback. 8's carry with the Arc Warden. Looks like Ottoman Empire will be moving into the position 3 role. swapping with Miss Snow. He's going to get an Earth Spike onto Dimitri. Oh, unlucky with the Spark Wraith. Goes over towards the creep. Dimitri able to sidestep that. Let's see. It's a fully melee bottom lane here. Up top. Sorry, you're gonna TP away after the Earth Spike gets used. Able to escape any further danger there. Got bot Granola keeping the pressure up with the Blood Right. And maybe look to turn something around, get the Impale, but the damage coming out from Granola plus the Aphotic Shield and just the damage from the creeps looks like was what finished it off. They bring down Ottoman Empire's Centaur, and he respawns before I manage to click on the death summary. But yeah, it's what you expected. I was just curious about the creep damage mostly. Sari's still getting hit by a lot of harass. These Spark Wraiths pretty annoying to play into, trying to play the backline on the Jakiro. Yeah, it does have that new Icebreaker facet, so we'll see that come into play for some more damage on the Ice Path. Now getting a level into Liquid Frost and Liquid Fire. So these share a cooldown unless you get Aghanim Shard. And so I find it interesting choosing which one you're going to use in any given situation. The Liquid Frost increases the damage taken from Jakiro's stuff. So that's going to be a Liquid Fire just for the DOT and the attack slow. We probably are usually using Liquid. You've got Liquid Frost there, is not. Dimitri looking to contest the push in, but is going to get mana drained. Just a level 1 mana drain, so not too punishing. A rotation over here from the Jakiro as Jaeger Knight is kind of owning this mid lane to get things started. 19, make that 20-4 to 9-1. SLA not going to be off to the start that they were on the Tiny last game. Down bot, Bork wants to pick up this Lotus, but is going to get forced away, hit by the Mist Coil. And Granola going to be the one to pick it up. Also gets the courier kill. Bork's courier coming in at an opportune moment. 8888 is going to be the one to pick up the Lotus in the top pool. Bork nearly going down. Make their way back to base to heal up. Snup from Miss Snow, that's going to set up the Spark Wraith. Dimitri stepping forward, though, to mitigate the damage from Miss Snow, getting down the right clicks on Asari. 8s is getting a little low. Dimitri in with the Anger Smash. Spark Wraith, though, is going to slow them down. Mana Drain's going to help out with that. Looking for the Gush, but gets stunned up, gets the Gush out, but 8's able to heal up for now. Another Spark Wraith comes out, and get Bork rotating off of the respawn. Impale is there to save 8's, and now Dimitri is going to be the one to fall. Excellent rotation from Bork. Nice pair of kills for HPGG. Sari, meanwhile, is going to go over to the mid lane. That Ice Wall a little off the mark. Not able to pick up Jaeger Knight. Ooh, and a smoke early for Miss Snow and Bork. They want to really continue punishing Sari and SLA. This Invoker, though, is super deep behind the tower, and they're going to see that from the creep. See if they look to sneak around here, or they're just going to stay set up here. Feels like SLA kind of knows this. Really playing hard towards the bottom side of lane. Now making their way over. The smokes are going to break. Bork is in with the Impale. Earth Spike to follow up as well. Mana Drain on top of SLA. Trying to get away, but is not going to have a chance. Jaeger Knight going to get the damage in. Forge Spirit drop. That's going to get cleaned up by Jaeger Knight as well. HPGG making some big early moves to get this game rolling after a couple of early kills. Now that does mean the side lanes have been without their supports for a little bit, so Ottoman Empire falling a little bit low. 8's still farming very well here, very much out last hitting Dimitri's Tidehunter at this stage. So, not suffering for it too much in the top lane, and even with as low as Ottoman Empire is sitting,
No breaking through the
pretty much dead even with Granola on the last hits. Just behind by a couple. Bork making the way back over now. Look for the setup. They get the Impale right at the edge of it. Chain it into the Hoofstomp. He's been on top of that all game already. They're going to throw down the Bloodright. Granola getting a little bit low, but that's going to be enough to discourage Ottoman Empire from continuing. Bork is going to go over, pick up the Healing Lotus for the Dire side. Looks like 888 getting another Healing Lotus in the top lane. Stun up onto Sari, taking lots of damage. Sunstrike coming in onto 8. The slow from the Spark Wraith is there once again, and 8888 is going to be able to limp away from this one. Jaeger Knight hitting the level 6 has already brought down the tower. SLA getting the deny on it, but this is a rough one for this Invoker. 42-5 to 16-2. Jaeger Knight's absolutely owning this mid lane. HPGG, or Arpals won his Legend, perhaps not accounting for the idea of the Invoker, or of the Bristleback going mid lane when they picked up the Invoker. Up top, SLA finds the Sunstrike, and this time 888 is brought down. Another dual breath onto Miss Snow, but looks like she'll be able to walk away down bot. We get another kill. Granola finds Ottoman Empire. Blackjoe trying to escape from Bork, dodging through the trees, is going to get away. The Bloodright's not going to connect, but that is going to force Bork to stop looking for this Abaddon. Blackjoe will be able to heal up.
Dyer's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
Scan goes out. Wisdom Shrines. This time, no shenanigans. Each side will claim their own, uncontested. Ottoman Empire sitting on a good amount of health. Preemptive Aphotic Shield comes out. See if Sari's maybe looking for something, just getting some harass in. Interested to see what SLA... Yeah, it's going to be the Hand of Midas to try to recover from this rough mid lane against the Bristleback. Actually is outforming the offlaners, even despite how this has gone. So the offlaners are the ones really having a tough time in this game. The Bristleback's the big winner. Snow falling very low. One last attack from Sari will do it, and Dimitri getting the level 6 off of that. Does not quite have the mana, waiting for that magic stick to come up, gets the Gust to slow down 8, sets up Sunstrike with the Ice Path, and the Arc Warden clone is going to come in. Jaeger Knight making the rotation over is going to get the return kill on Sari, but Dimitri able to escape. Getting a very good trade for themselves, 2 for 1, and once again in the bottom lane, I'm too focused on top. There is a little more happening there, but Granola just getting kill after kill on Ottoman Empire. 0-3-0 on the Centaur so far, off to a rough start in this one. Granola in pretty good shape off of all of these kills. Got that Falcon Blade going. A lot of Falcon Blades in this series, I've noticed. Don't know if that's just a preference of these teams, or rise in popularity. Rise in the meta with some of the changes to the items. Bristle opting for the Bracer Null Talisman combo for mana rather than a Falcon Blade. Which makes sense. I think Bristle prefers the stats over the bit of like damage and attack speed you get. Get a trusty shovel concocted for the Bristleback with some extra mana regen on that. I'm gonna open up the opportunity. Dig up some runes, even easier to find water runes now with all of the extra water on the map. Like, Sari and Dimitri wanting to rotate up here, but the ward is going to spot this out, so the Spark Double is going to get used right away. The Ravage is there, though, going to set up the Sunstrike. 8 is going to be in trouble and just brought down immediately. Miss Snow in with the stun, but steps into the Ice Path. Give Dimitri some space to get away. Sari getting brought low. Bork coming in is going to get the cleanup kill, so they'll at least get a response. And now with both supports here, they're going to try to look to bring down Dimitri as well. Bork eats an Anchor Smash to the face. They have Kraken Shell. Oh, the new facet, Kraken Swell. No, not the new facet. What's the... Oh, it's just a new thing that Tidehunter can do that I forgot about. We'll come back to that later because Granola is once again killing Ottoman Empire down in the bot lane. Jaeger Knight's here. Try to get a response. Lots of pretty durable heroes to contend with, though. And it looks like we'll be forced to back away. Granola, I apologize for how many of your kills in this early game I'm missing. Is Jaeger Knight now going to look to run down this Bloodseeker? Getting the Goose Stacks going, but Black Joe's there with a Dispel to remove some of them. Quilt Stacks building up as well, though, and it's going to be SLA and Sari rotating over here. They'd love to find a kill on this Bristleback, who's by far the strongest here on the side of HPGG. SLA and Sari are going to connect. It's going to be the Tornado to set things up, immediately into the Ice Path, into the Meteor and the Blood Ray. Black Joe's ult gets used, but otherwise nothing is lost for our Pulse Legend as they bring down the big, bad mid-lane Bristleback.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
That's going to set up the tower, which I think, unless HPG commit hard to defending this, Miss Snow is going to get clipped by the Ice Path, but is going to be able to walk away. Okay, I think I want to talk about this Kraken Shell active. Doubles the block amount at the cost of 40%. Not the most exciting thing. But in you know, Tidehunter's got 4 buttons. I don't know if he's ever had 4 buttons before. That's a new fun little feature. Slow yourself down, but take less damage. Kind of a Craggy Coat type deal. Which I want to say Craggy Coat got removed again. Yeah. They wanted to keep Craggy Coat in the game somewhere. The game's Tidehunter down in the bot lane. HPGG, they are going to get in under the tower. Find a nice kill onto Sari. Granola and Black Joe in the area as well. But the Rupture out is going to bring down Jaeger Knight again. It's going to be a troublesome kill for the side of HPGG. They'd love to get a return kill onto Granola, but it's just the supports left down here. Ottoman Empire not going to be close enough to be able to connect in time. Granola is going to be A-okay. Black Joe helping keep them alive. Still really want to find something for HPGG. You can tell with the way they're positioning down here. Or maybe looking to wrap around. Sari's back up, going to get the Ice Path. It's going to prevent the follow-up. You get the Impale off onto Granola. Ult from Vadden does get burnt as well, but they're going to end up just using the Stampede to get away. Eights is going to rotate down here. Eight's having a bit of a better time in this game for HPGG. You're not going to come back down here as well. So they're going to really commit to the party lane in bot. Trying to at least slow down Granola's farm. Like, even if you're not getting the trades that you want, you're forcing Granola into worse farm. You're forcing him to take Polywogs over here. This camp is super stacked, and it's going to be a while before they take it. They're just going to keep forcing fights into the tower. Miss Snow is going to find a kill to start things off. Sari will get the return kill onto Bork. Ice Path stops Dimitri for the moment, but Ottoman Empire is in trouble. Now they're turning over onto Black Joe. Jaeger Knight getting in on the action. Granola getting brought low. This would be the kill that they really want. Jaeger Knight maybe going to look to chase forward, but SLA is there to help them out. And the speed's going to be too much. Jaeger Knight's not going to be able to find the kill on Granola. It ends up being 2 for 2. It's all 4 supports dying, so pretty even trade. Oh, and now it's not an even trade because SLA gets another Sunstrike. This time it's on Ottoman Empire. And Dimitri is going to get forced back under the tower. Jaeger Knight's going to be a little too much for the Tidehunter to deal with, even with this bit of just a lot of casual items. Casual Cloak, casual Morbid Mask. Thinking about farming this Ancient back, but that's a lot of creeps. You have the option to activate that damage block. Maybe that gets you through. You've got, so yeah, there it is. You've got some of the returning Prowlers in here. Oh yeah, this guy actually damage blocks so much. That's insane. He doesn't even care. He's gonna stand in the middle of these Ancients and press Anchor Smash off cooldown. So it'll be a nice injection for your Tidehunter. Get closer to that Blink Dagger, which will really accelerate your ability to have these team fights. Otherwise, things kinda... I say otherwise as if I was just looking at something interesting and not a Tidehunter taking an Ancient stack. In addition to watching a Tidehunter take an Ancient stack, things all around the map are slowing down. Everybody kinda licking their wounds, heading into the jungle to try to get farmed up before they continue the big fights. Our Pulse Legend having a bit of a lead at this stage. They're going to take advantage of that, take advantage of being on the Radiant side, take advantage of having this Tier 1 tower still standing, secure themselves the first Tormentor of the game. That one goes into the hands of the Batten. Generally, I mean, especially without appointing Curse and Avernus, this doesn't do, like, anything. Generally not considered a huge value shard on the support Abaddon. Makes Mist Coil, deal attack damage, and apply attack effects. It can be a nice little slow tool once you have a point in Curse, just to get a ranged slow out from your Abaddon. Otherwise, it doesn't do too much. Also, if you picked up like an Orb of Frost or something, you can get value out of that. Not the biggest jump, despite the way it affects the net worth change, which this massive spike for taking the Tormentor. It's kind of crazy. Again, giving that bonus gold on top of the shard now. Maybe over-tuning it, as they're gonna get some stolen oh no. Well, they steal the stacks. They get the Ancient stack, but the Vision's there, the Sunstrike is there, and the TP was not in time. You're gonna does go down. Things are looking pretty scary for HPGG. Invoker and Bloodseeker pretty far up. Last game, it's crazy how much this Invoker's recovered. 7-1. Make that 8-1 because finding yet another Sunstrike. Catch on a Miss Snow as well. It's going to be another kill off of the Deafening Blast. They are going to try to look to find the return kill on Sari. Bork getting in there, has plenty of health to work with. Able to sidestep. The Ice Path is going to get tripped up by the... what was that ability called? Cold Snap. And Cold Feet, or Chill Touch. And those are Ancient Apparition abilities. Not Invoker abilities. Able to get out of there, so damage is somewhat mitigated, but it is going to be the top Tier 1 tower as well. To a 7k net worth lead for the side of Arpaz 1 is Legend. Get a pair of Essence Rings built. Blow stun up. It's just the Tempest double, but it is a nice little chunk of gold. And reduces 8's farming a bit. Has the Midas, has the Maelstrom, so 8's is getting pretty good farm. Yeah, last game was in a better position on the Muerta, at least in terms of, like, Granola wasn't doing as well last game. But SLA, once again, kind of playing out of their mind, back-to-back games. Miss Snow is going to find a catch on Asari into the Finger of Death. That'll be a quick, easy stack. Second stack of Finger of Death for that bonus damage on Miss Snow. Nice little pickup. That's all you can really ask for in this kind of game for HPGG. Finding what you can on the map, getting farm for your cores. They're doing the right things. They just got to be careful to alleviate the bleeding as much as possible.
The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
Let's see, we got another Essence Ring there. Brigand's Blade on the Arc Warden could be pretty nice. Searing Signet on the Bristleback. Does that do what they want it to do? They're going to get a Rupture onto Bork. Able to sidestep the Sunstrike, but not going to be able to survive the onslaught of damage with all of these heroes here. I don't think Searing Signet does anything on Bristleback. Because it's not spell damage, it's magic damage. And Bristle's one spell that deals damage does physical damage. So I don't think this ever actually procs. Unless you bought, like, an item that dealt magic damage, but... Set on the Aghanim Shard into S and Y, so... Just an interesting neutral item. Now this guy, Searing Signet definitely works for Lion. Gossamer's Cave on Ottoman Empire is going to be helpful for dealing with
Radiant's top tower.
Bloodseeker as well as the Invoker to a degree. Actually has the Gleipnir, which I was my brain wanted to say was indicating a right-click build, but that is no longer the case. That is a full caster item now.
Radiant's top
The first
tower's
Aegis
taking
picked up by our Pause 1 is Legend. This game's starting to look very similar to the first game. Got SLA kind of popping off, leading the charge. We're going to smoke from HPGG now. Try to find a support taking the Wisdom Shrine for Bork. Miss Snow and Bork are going to find the Jakiro once again. Get the quick pick off. SLA is going to TP in. They've got the Tempest double here. Miss Snow is going to get shredded really quickly, but Ottoman Empire is in. This would be a really big pickup if they can find it. The Deafening Blast is pretty problematic. Granola's going to punch down Bork, quickly tear them apart. Now it's over to Ottoman Empire, and the gank kind of falls apart. The three heroes you send to pick off the Jakiro, they all fall. Nobody else going down on the side of our Pause 1 is Legend. We got the Ags finished on Jaeger Knight. Ag Shard arriving now as well, so has the Hairball. Yeah, Hairball also does not deal magic damage.
Dire's top tower's getting beat down. Can't do nothing about Dire's structure.
Brigand's Blade on Granola, Falcon Blade, S and Y, Maelstrom,
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
SLA, that Gleipnir that we started to talk about, that AoE effect for the spells, and just having AoE control. Alongside the Midas, so...
Radiant's
I mean, got that to recover the lane, but very quickly didn't really need to recover the lane.
you know the drill.
Orc gonna be out on the hunt again.
Goes Radiant's bottom tower.
Not gonna find Sorry immediately. Sorry now safely
Dire's
with
got
the
one last
team.
top tower.
Orc would love to find a catch to start something off here, but Ottoman Empire is where things are gonna start. Bork does get the pick off. It's a massive one. 1k net worth from a godlike streak. Jaeger Knight is going to be able to finish off Sorry. So, 2 deaths here, and they're going to look for more. Bork and Miss Snow setting up onto Dimitri. These are pretty tough heroes to bring down. The stun is just out of range. Dimitri is going to be able to keep sliding away, getting stuck in the stun animation. Yeah, that ends up being so much of this gold went to the Nyx because it was the Invoker kill. But pretty big one. Bork once again putting in huge work for HPGG from the support role.
For the twins. Money changes hands.
Ooh, Bork. Oh, wow. Quick reaction from Sorry. The Impale is going to be a little off the mark. Nice use of the spiked Carapace. SLA is going to find a kill elsewhere on the map, and Bork is going to get punished. Reaction. That had to be a... This sentry. This sentry burned Bork. That's how Sorry got the reaction for the Ice Path out in time. Yeah, elsewhere... Arc Warden, Gleipnir, Deafening Blast, Meteor Sunstrike. This Invoker's big. Tornado onto 2 to try to escape, gets the Ice Wall out as well, Gleipnir back. Ottoman Empire does get the blink forward, gets the stun to set up, but Jaeger Knight's not really able to join this one. Now the Deafening Blast onto the Centaur. Could be Ottoman Empire getting punished here. Dimitri connecting in as well. They have the Cold Snap to prevent the TP. Looks for the Hoof Stomp. The Cold Snap is going to interrupt that cast time and bring down the Centaur. We're gonna spot Bork farming here. Just gonna take over the lane himself. Sunstrike out with the meteor. Onto Bristleback. Aegis is gonna expire. Tornado just clips Jaeger Knight. Glimmer Cape's there from Miss Snow. Oh yeah, you got Glimmer Cape on Bristleback. This is what I was starting to talk about in the draft at one point. 3 Glimmer Capes. That's also going to be how Sari is able to have a chance at surviving Orcs take on 3. Orc has overtaken Ottoman Empire, who's kind of down with the supports at this point. Still a big jump between Bork and Dimitri. Ice Path onto the Tempest Double. Clean up that. Bork is in here, though, and gets the kill on Sari. Rupture out, has the spiked Carapace, and Miss Snow is going to help Bork get out of here, but can Miss Snow get out now? SLA has the Tornado. That's going to control up Miss Snow, bring down the Lion. Tormentor has respawned, and our pause 1 is Legend, going to continue snowballing this lead of theirs. Set up, quickly bring down the Tormentor. That's going to go to Dimitri. That's a huge one to get to Jakiro. No, they just won the 50-50 between the Jakiro and the Tidehunter, who now jumps up above Jaeger Knight from that injection. And this is a very good shard. There's not a target that's like crazy important to control. It's not like you're playing into like Ember Spirit gets ruined by this shard. Other heroes like that hate getting an anchor tied to them. It's not quite as bad for these heroes, but we're still going to see it come into play. It's a nice little control ability for the Tidehunter.
Guess what's happening to Dyer's bottom tower?
Got the Mage Slayer going, so it wasn't just a casual cloak. It does become the Mage Slayer. Orb of Corrosion as well, so lots of nice on-hit effects for the Anchor Smash. Start to see some tier 3 neutrals coming out soon. Already had a few minutes of that. Ooh, silence into the Rupture. Granola taking a lot of damage from the Blade Mail, but you're going to be able to heal that up. Bring down Ottoman Empire. SLA, meanwhile, finds a catch on Miss Snow. Somewhere. Also over here, I guess? Or already connected. It's going to be high ground. They've got the... They had an Aegis. They no longer have an Aegis. That expired a while ago. I know what's happening in this game. Bork in on the backline. Wants to find SLA, but misses the Impale. I'm double rooted up. They get the evasion. Dimitri going to kind of get left alone. Pops the Kraken Shell. Getting that extra damage block out. Taking chase forward for Bork. Ooh, they get the Impale, but it's immediately dispelled off. Black Joe there, helping make sure Dimitri's able to get out. Ice Path to really ensure there's no chance at chasing, and our pause 1 is Legend. You get away with taking the tower without losing any heroes. SLA hunting in the cover of Ghost Shroud. Ottoman Empire is going to get Gleipnir'd up, get the Cataclysm, Deafening Blast. Not going to quite finish this. A little worried about Bork's ability to contest this with a huge Tornado, but the Stampede, the Blink Dagger is going to be enough to get out of range of it. They will find themselves a Tempest Double. Eights will control this to try to contest, but it's going to get brought down pretty quickly. Sorry, gonna catch Bork under a sentry once again. They've got the dust as well. The Jaeger Knight's there to help out. Glimmercape eats the Dagon, but Bork is able to finish them off. Now the Ravage and the Rupture thrown out onto the Bristleback. Tries to escape into the Glimmercape, but getting pushed around and getting brought down by a Granola. That facet's still so goofy. Rupture units being pushed when attacked by Bloodseeker. It's pretty gross. Big roar from Roshan. It's the 4-hero disarm, but Bristleback dead. I don't think there's going to be a chance of contesting this for HPGG. And for the 5th time in the series, our Pause 1 is Legend will get an uncontested Roshan. They will give the Aegis to Dimitri this time around. And Roshan's banner picked up by Black Joe. Almost has the Aghanim Scepter. That's going to be a big boost of healing for the team. They have any items for mitigating that? They're working on the Shivas for Ottoman Empire.
Arcane power.
I think they're going to need a Scotty on the Arc Warden. As they do look for a stun, but Granola going to turn around with the BKB. It's the big heal up off of an Ottoman Empire. There's the Gleipnir into the Cataclysm. Four Staff's there in time for 8, but not in time for Miss Snow, who gets brought down. They're going to clean up that Tempest double as well. It's going to open the door for them to start looking at high ground. Jaeger Knight is back up. Going to start getting the Nasal Goo going out. The Gleipnir is on top, sets up the Ice Path from the Jakiro. Trying to back away, gets that Bristleback going. Bork's in with big damage onto SLA, but it's not quite enough, and the Glimmercape's there to keep SLA alive. Dimitri's going to finish off the barracks. 8 is laying in the damage onto Dimitri. Jaeger Knight as well. This Tidehunter has no fear, because this Tidehunter has an Aegis. Impale up, Dagon in, but the heal's coming out from Black Joe's going to heal up with the Borrowed Time in the Macropyre. Macropyre's on his team. What am I talking about? Sunstrike out onto Bork. Ice Path again. Dimitri, did you even need this Aegis? This guy is looking unkillable. Throws out the anchor onto 8. Mana Burn comes out. The Snow has a little bit left from that Mana Drain. They finish off the first set of racks. They back away for now. They still have an Aegis on their Tidehunter. If they can get mana back into this guy, still have the Ravage available. They didn't need to commit that. Dimitri's just going to keep sitting up on their high ground. Jaeger Knight throwing the Bristleback from that Ags into the Tidehunter, but heals again. It's how do you deal with this team? You need to get onto Black Joe. The Borrowed Time's on cooldown. If you can find the pickoff there, maybe you have a chance of bringing down Dimitri a first time. I think Dimitri's just going to let the Aegis get used, pop back up with a Ravage available with mana full again. It's going to get a little bit slowed up. It's going to start bringing in some damage. Ottoman Empire stepping up as well. Doesn't have the mana for Hoofstaff, and there's another Cataclysm into the Ice Path. Ottoman Empire goes down. Tempest double goes down as well. Going to take their second of the Tier 3 towers. Jaeger Knight still trying to deal with this Tidehunter. 8's getting some damage out as well. Anchor out onto the Bristleback. They'll quickly clear that up. Bork looking for something in the backline, but they're just going to turn around onto the Nyx Assassin, bring down Bork. And Snow gets the stun onto Dimitri. Jaeger Knight trying to find something. Glimmercape up. It's so hard to survive in these fights. Granola now chasing Jaeger Knight, throwing some attacks into the back. Does not care that it is a Bristleback. Granola has so much damage. This new Aghanim Scepter coming out. Blood Rage attacks dealing 3% of the target's max health as pure damage. It's just so much damage. They have so much damage and they have so much sustain because Black Joe is just throwing Mistcoil after Mistcoil into him. Has the Ags for that Borrowed Time upgrade. It's so impossible to kill anybody on this team. They did... They missed... Okay, so that... Bork, once again, found the pickoff on SLA. And then paid with their life. Tons of blade mail damage from the Cataclysm. And then Bork got in for the finish. Yeah, just 30% pure damage lifesteal, essentially, on that Ag Scepter as well. He's dealing so much, like, all of his damage is pure. It's a lot of damage. A lot of damage, a lot of heal. They're gonna Stampede. Bork looking for something. Gets a big spiked Carapace, but the Gleipnir from SLA is gonna still escape with this Vendetta. Anything else they're chasing for here? Our Pos1's Legend is pretty stacked up. They're just going to go right up the high ground in mid lane again. They're not waiting for another Aegis. They just want to get right in there. Bristleback is going to be forced to TP back. Arc Warden as well. HPGG doing a good job of keeping the side lanes pushed out. But Granola going to make quick works of the first barracks. Ice Path onto Jaeger Knight. The Macropyre down as well. Ace is going to try to lay damage into Granola. That Arc Warden and Tempest double. Ottoman Empire with a nice stun. Is there any follow-up for it? But Dimitri's in. Threatening the Ravage. Still holding on to it. Backing up now. Is going to pop it. Tempest double goes down. Ottoman Empire follows. Granola out onto Bork. Getting stunned up, but sticking right on top of the target. Second set of barracks goes down. Our Pos1's Legend. Just one set of barracks left to go. Go bring in that top wave. Things are looking pretty tough for HPGG at this point. Again, they're finding some good kills in these fights, but this one feels even harder than the last game. It's looking tough for prospect of what they can do to make these fights happen. I feel like the big difference is having this Ravage available on the Tidehunter. There's no similar team fight on the side of HPGG. And Ottoman Empire has just had a rough go of it, so you're not getting as much of these like Blink Stomp initiations as you need. They had a good one in that last fight, but then they weren't really positioned to capitalize on it. It's made it a lot harder for them to find even any wins or trades in these team fights. Bork's been doing a lot of the work here with the Nyx Assassin, just finding some like cheeky pick-off kill in the back at the end of the fight. Huge meteors coming out from the Invoker. Our Pos1's Legend still kind of threatening the high ground, but not being willing to fully commit. Now they're going to throw down the Rupture onto Jaeger Knight, able to escape with the Glimmer Cape. 8's Tempest double getting a little controlled up, but able to scoop themselves back up to the high ground to safety. Bork hunting in the back. They have the vision, gets the initial go, but now immediately controlled up into the Ice Path, and it's going to be the Nyx Assassin going down. Stampede forward, they want to try to help out their Nyx Assassin, get something off of this initiation. But now they're just going to be using the Stampede to retreat backwards. Jaeger Knight gets caught in the Ice Path. Granola turns onto the Bristleback, big damage into his back. Tornado connects onto 2. Cataclysm going to be set up by that. And Granola is going to finish off Ottoman Empire. Jaeger Knight able to escape. With 2 heroes down, no buybacks available, it's going to be Mega Creeps for the side of our Pos1's Legend. Putting down Ravage immediately onto the Lion. Quickly clean up Miss Snow, has the buyback available, the Lion will come back in, but when these fights have been so hard 5v5, how do you win one 3v5? Dimitri is getting low, Finger of Death comes out, but immediately the heals. Black Joe has that Ags, borrowed time used, makes sure that everybody on the team is getting healed up. They're going to retreat backwards, but now the Rupture, and look at the damage come out from Granola, absolutely crazy. That is a Bristleback that just got brought down in a matter of seconds, immediately has to buy back again. Looks like our Pos1's Legend is going to respect that buyback with Nyx Assassin respawning as well, but this game is just about over. There's going to be a Roshan respawning soon? Is this a... I feel like I heard this mentioned on a procast. If you... like, casters might not be able to see the exact respawn anymore. Ooh, the Boots of Travel play onto Bork. They find SLA. They have the catch, but the BKB's there. The Rupture as the Ogre Seal Totem comes out. Bork is going to be brought down. It is just the Tempest Double that was committed, so that will fall to Miss Snow looking to get in on the action, getting Glimmer Cape away. Granola chasing as well, though, has the Silver Edge. Miss Snow able to dodge it out. Oh, but SLA. SLA was there, has the Gleipnir, has the Meteor. And Miss Snow's going to take out the damage absolutely crazy from the Invoker. And now with both of the supports dead, forget picking up Roche. Let's go right back to the base. Let's try to force the issue, see if our +1 Legend is going to clear out the game now. Right on to the tier 4s. There is a Fortify to start for now. Jaeger Knight trying to get the goo and quill stacks going. 8s off to the side, trying to survive. They're getting good damage into Dimitri. Auto and Empire, though, is just going to get blown up. The Cataclysm's huge, nearly brings down 8s immediately. Drones exposed. Jaeger Knight still trying to get damage out onto them, but now it's a 2v5. 8s getting damage, gets the break on the Tidehunter, but now Black Joe even getting in on the action. And it doesn't matter because Granola's hitting the throne. It'll be GG. It'll be a 2-0 for our +1 is Legend. I believe that means they even their record up to 4-4. Great performance from them. HPGG still having a tough one. But still, less so than the first game, but still some glimmers of good plays here. Great performance again by, I think, Bork in particular, trying to make things happen on these spicy position 4s. MVP for your game, Granola didn't die, so once again my decision is easy. SLA incredibly impressive again, with the especially coming out of a very rough mid lane against the Bristleback, and then to turn it around and go 17-3. 17-0-11 Bloodseeker is going to be your MVP. Support of the game, 1-1-28 on Abaddon is kind of a thing of beauty. Sorry had a rough one, was the easiest target for Bork's Nyx Assassin. The heals coming out from Black Joe, getting just the straight Holy Locket Ags build, like, for the way that our +1 is Legend was playing this game, with how, like, tanky some of these cores were, it was exactly the build you needed. It made it so impossible to bring down either the Bloodseeker or the Tidehunter. One death between the two of them. I think we're all of the deaths on the Invoker. One was in the early game from the Bristleback, and then Bork. It's, yeah, like that. The Invoker really only dying to the Nyx Assassin. The Jakiro, kind of dying, mostly dying to the Nyx Assassin as well. So that's what they were able to find. Again, great plays from both of these teams. Looking forward to seeing what they've got to work with in the future. We're getting closer to the end of group stage, at least as far as like doing a round robin. We've been doing kind of a Swiss, but also kind of a round robin for the 6 teams in Quas Division. It's looking like we will have some teams from Wex Division going up against some teams from Quas Division. Try out some mixing and matching between the divisions. So that's going to be fun to see. We'll see if these teams are involved in that at all. Yeah, looking forward to another great week of WLDL matches. Looking forward to the rest of the ones that we got this week. A few games coming up tomorrow, I believe. I think one later tonight as well. Kind of a late night series, I think, is scheduled for like 10:30 tonight. A little too late for me to cast, so I won't be hopping back on for that one, but hopefully somebody does pick it up. Maybe you want to pick it up. We'd love to have anybody who's interested in casting give it a go. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're just, chilling, putting a camera, chatting about item builds and stuff. Nobody's expected to do pro level casts. Just do whatever you're comfortable with. Any amount of having a stream to go back to for these players is like, it means the world. So love to have you. Check out the Discord for that. I'll throw actually I'll wait because I don't want to kind of soft spoil that the game ended. But I'll throw the link once once my delay catches up, so that you have that there. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a great rest, what's left of your weekend and start of your week, and looking forward to a lot more good Dota.